care what pro-choicers think of us?
So there's a danger in going too far with this. Like, there's some people that are like, I don't want to offend anybody. I want people to think like I'm mean or something like that. Like, I don't think that should be the driving force. What I want is to be persuasive. I want to see more pro-choice people change their minds. So I think a lot about, how does persuasion work? Like, for someone to change their mind about something like a really important issue, something that's like, especially if it's deeply emotional and personal to them, is a huge thing. A lot of people struggle, and if they do change their minds about serious issues like capital punishment or whatever, like, it happens over a course of months or years of maybe reading books, watching documentaries, talking to their friends, talking to trusted sources, doing research, etc. And so, for me, like, the times that I've seen pro-choice people change their mind right in front of me, which happens, it's not the norm. Like, normally people need months at least to change their mind, but I've had people change their mind right in front of me. Those were all cases where they liked me, where they didn't think I was a jerk, or maybe didn't think that, like, I hated women, like that, I was able to come across as someone who was intelligent and virtuous at the same time. Like I've got interesting things to say, so they're interested in, like, knowing what those are. We're both asking each other questions, and they're not just doing all the talking. But also, like, they understand I don't hate women. I don't want things to go back to, like, when women didn't vote, like all these kind of stupid caricatures of pro-life people. Like, they're able to get past that, and we could just have a real conversation, and have that kind of emotional safety that I think a lot of times people need for them to really become vulnerable with their own views and actually, like, think to themselves, is he maybe right and I may be wrong? And so for that to happen, I think our conversations are going to be more effective on average if the conversation is reminiscent of friends sitting at, like, a coffee shop and having coffee together and talking over there versus, like, a debate or an argument or, like, whatever. Of course, like, I've seen people change their mind in odd circumstances where it's like, I can't believe they changed their mind in that situation. Like, there's all these things working against them, but I've seen it. But I think more often than not, they changed their mind because they were taking my views really seriously. So what do they need to take my views seriously? Well, they probably need to think that I'm not an idiot, and they probably need to think that I'm not a mean, horrible, hateful person. So I care about that in the sense that I think it's going to be helpful to our conversation. But certainly, I will sometimes push people in ways that might make them not like me as much. So I think sometimes the right thing to do is to push pretty hard when people say things that are just like terrible things to say. I've had people like, oh yeah, well, I guess maybe you could kill infants. Like, I'm going to push pretty hard here and be like, really? Like, are you just saying that, or is that really your view? Like, you think we should be able to kill babies? Like, up until when? Like, I'm going to ask some questions. I'm not going to be like a jerk about it, but I will push them. Because I think sometimes that's what people need. But I'm ultimately going to, like, my goal is in the conversation to try to figure out, what does this person need? What is going to be most helpful for them? Is a very slow process of asking lots of questions in the beginning and really getting to know them before I make arguments. Is that going to be most helpful to them? Or is this a person that's like, I just want to hear your best argument, go. And, like, we just do it. Like, it just depends on the person. Our motto at ERI is that every conversation is a series of difficult judgment calls amidst prayer without ceasing. And so it's going to be different with every person. But generally, I don't think I'm going to have as big of an impact on the people that don't like me than I will on the people that are like, oh, all right, there's at least one pro-lifer that's not mean. I'm going to take this guy's view seriously. I'm going to have a better chance with that person.